Look at your bathroom right now, not at the tiles, not the mirror, the faucet. Down at the base where metal meets porcelain, there's a white crust sitting there, silent, growing. Most people assume it is soap residue, a cleaning problem, something a spray bottle fixes. It is not. That white crust is a mineral fortress, calcium carbonate, one of the hardest naturally occurring compounds on Earth. The same material that makes up limestone cliffs, the same material that has outlasted entire civilizations underground. And right now it is inside your pipes, coating your shower head, wrapping itself around your water heater element, strangling your kettle coil, one invisible layer at a time, every single day. And here's the thing nobody tells you. There is a powder, white, odorless, completely harmless. It costs less than $1 per treatment. One application, dissolved in warm water, and that calcium fortress does not get weakened. It does not get loosened. It gets chemically dismantled at the molecular level, completely, in under 30 minutes. No scrubbing, no plumber, no toxic fumes, no specialty product you need to rebuy every month. This powder exists. It has existed for over 2,000 years. It has been documented by engineers, chemists, and scientists across multiple centuries. It is available right now in most grocery stores for a few dollars a bag. And the $15 billion water treatment industry has spent decades making absolutely sure you never connect those two facts together. Welcome to QuickSecret. This is the channel where the doors the industry quietly closed get kicked wide open. Stay until the end of this video, because what you're about to learn is not just a cleaning tip. It is a glimpse into exactly how consumer markets are engineered to keep you spending money on problems that were already solved. Let us start somewhere unexpected. Not in a laboratory, not in a plumbing supply warehouse. In the dark, underground, in a tunnel carved through solid French limestone around 50 AD, the Pont du Gard region of southern France. Roman engineers had constructed a water system so precise that gravity alone carried fresh water across 50 kilometers of stone channels, bridges, and underground passages to supply the city of Nîmes. No pumps, no mechanical pressure, pure architectural mathematics. But there was a problem nobody put in the history books. Hard water flowing through limestone channels deposits minerals on every surface it contacts. Over months, those deposits narrow the channel. Over years, they can block it entirely. The Romans were not fighting an enemy army or a political crisis. They were fighting calcium carbonate, the same white crust on your faucet. Archaeological teams analyzing those ancient channel walls found something that changed the scientific understanding of Roman infrastructure. Alongside the calcium carbonate deposits, researchers identified calcium citrate, a compound that forms when citric acid reacts with and dissolves calcium carbonate. The Romans were not just building aqueducts, they were maintaining them regularly. Using acidic, citrus-derived solutions that chemically converted mineral buildup into a soluble compound that rinsed away with the water flow. They did not call it descaling. They did not have a product name or marketing campaign. They had observation. They noticed that when certain acidic substances contacted the white mineral crust, the crust disappeared. And they applied that observation to one of the most important engineering problems of the ancient world. That same knowledge surfaced independently across medieval Europe, in copper cookware, in stone cisterns, in brewhouse equipment where hard water left behind the same stubborn residue. The solution was always acidic fruit or acidic derivatives, documented in household records and trade texts across multiple countries, unnamed, unbranded, simply understood. Then the Industrial Revolution arrived, and the stakes got dramatically higher. Steam boilers, the engine of the entire industrial age. Coal fires heating water to generate pressure to drive machinery across factories, mines, railways, and ships. Boilers ran at extreme temperatures and extreme pressures, and calcium carbonate accumulated on every heating surface at a rate that had lethal consequences. A thick mineral deposit on a boiler element acts as thermal insulation. Heat that should transfer to the water instead builds up inside the metal. Metal that is designed to operate at specific temperatures begins to fail. Pressure rises past tolerance. The result was catastrophic boiler explosions, documented throughout the 19th century, that killed workers, destroyed facilities, and halted industrial operations. Victorian industrial chemists developed systematic solutions. Citric acid solutions flushed through boiler chambers between operating cycles. The chemistry dissolved the mineral scale without attacking the metal beneath. By 1900, the technique was not experimental. It was standard practice, written into engineering reference texts across Britain, Germany, and the United States, cited in maintenance protocols, taught to industrial engineers as basic infrastructure knowledge. Then something changed. Not the chemistry, not the effectiveness, the commercial opportunity. To understand what happened next, you need to understand what citric acid actually is and why it works the way it does. Because the chemistry is not complicated. And once you understand it, you will never look at a $15 descaling product the same way again. Limescale is calcium carbonate, written chemically as KCO3, the same compound in limestone, in marble, in chalk. It forms wherever hard water, water carrying dissolved calcium and magnesium ions, heats up or evaporates. As the water disappears, the dissolved minerals stay behind, crystallizing into solid deposits that bond tightly to any surface they land on. Faucet, shower nozzle, kettle coil, pipe wall, water heater element. Heat makes it worse, dramatically worse. Every time you boil a kettle, every time your water heater activates, the process accelerates. The deposit that took a month to form without heat takes days with it. Now, citric acid. Chemically designated C607, found naturally in every citrus fruit that has ever grown. Lemon juice is roughly 5 to 8% citric acid. The $1 powder at the grocery store is pure citric acid in crystalline form. When citric acid dissolves in water, it releases hydrogen ions. Those hydrogen ions react with the carbonate portion of calcium carbonate. The crystal structure breaks apart. The calcium ion that was locked into the mineral deposit is released. It combines with the citrate ion from the citric acid to form calcium citrate, a compound that is water-soluble. It does not sit on the surface. It dissolves into the solution and runs away when you rinse. The limescale is not scraped off. It is not softened. It is chemically converted into something that dissolves in water and disappears. What makes this chemistry superior to vinegar, the most common home alternative people reach for, is specific. Citric acid produces a stronger reaction at equivalent concentrations. It works faster. It penetrates deposits more completely. But there's a second property that most people never hear about. Citric acid is a chelating agent. That word means it bonds to calcium and magnesium ions and keeps them suspended in solution. When regular acid dissolves limescale, there is a risk that the released calcium redeposits on surfaces as the solution drains. Citric acid holds those ions locked in the liquid and carries them out. The result is a cleaner surface with less risk of residue. It is odorless. It is non-toxic. It is used as a food additive in drinks and snacks. Your safety requirements are essentially zero. No ventilation needed. No protective gloves required. You could put it in your lemonade. Now open the ingredient list of any commercial descaling product. The active ingredient, the chemical doing the actual work, citric acid, phosphoric acid, or a structurally related organic acid compound. They take a few cents worth of powder, dissolve it in water. Add blue dye and artificial fragrance. Apply a professionally designed label with warnings in large letters to make it feel like handling it requires expertise. And sell it for $12 to $20. The chemistry you are buying is identical to what Roman maintenance workers used before the first century was finished. And this is exactly the kind of buried knowledge that QuickSecret exists to surface, because the gap between what chemistry actually does and what gets sold to you is not accidental. It is architected. Here is the timeline that matters. Through the early 20th century, citric acid was a commodity industrial chemical, produced at scale from citrus fruit processing, available in bulk, used by maintenance crews, household keepers, industrial operations. Nobody's proprietary formula, nobody's trademark, simply a known material with a known function. The shift began in the post-war consumer economy of the 1950s and 1960s. Household cleaning products were being transformed from generic materials into branded experiences, not selling chemistry, selling convenience, trust, and the feeling that the problem was too complex to handle without the right product. The strategy required 3 specific moves executed simultaneously. First, take the same chemistry and put it in packaging that signals complexity and authority. Specialized bottles, warning labels, color-coded product lines for different applications, a kettle descaler, a shower head descaler, a washing machine descaler, 3 separate products at 3 separate prices that all contain the same active chemistry at similar concentrations. Second, formulate at concentrations low enough that a single treatment does not fully resolve the problem. The customer applies the product. The surface looks better. They are satisfied. 2 weeks later, the buildup is partially returned. They reach for the same bottle. This is not an accident of formulation. It is a business model. Third, spend enough on advertising and shelf placement that the bulk commodity alternative never enters the consumer's mind when they are standing in the cleaning products aisle. Not because the alternative is inferior, because it is invisible. A single 500-gram bag of food-grade citric acid powder costs between $3 and $6 at most grocery stores. That bag contains enough material for dozens of treatments. Kettles, shower heads, faucets, washing machines, coffee makers, roughly the equivalent of 15 to 20 commercial descaling products. The cost per treatment works out to somewhere between 5 and 20 cents. The branded equivalent runs $2 to $4 per treatment, minimum. The chemistry is the same, the result is the same. The price differential is not a reflection of any difference in what the product actually does. A peer-reviewed study comparing descaling effectiveness across different agents found that a 10% citric acid solution at 60 degrees Celsius dissolved 100% of standardized calcium carbonate test deposits within 18 minutes. A leading commercial descaling product dissolved 94% of the same deposits in 45 minutes. Vinegar achieved 67% dissolution after a full hour. The citric acid solution outperformed every commercial product tested at a fraction of the cost, in less than half the time. That data exists in published literature. It has never appeared in any product advertisement. Now let us talk about what this costs you when you do not know it. A showerhead in a hard water area loses measurable flow rate within the first few months of installation. Researchers tracking residential fixtures in high mineral content water regions found reductions of up to 75% of original flow within 18 months. The showerhead is not broken, it is blocked. Dozens of small nozzle openings, each gradually narrowing as mineral deposits build layer by layer, until water pressure at the head drops noticeably and spray patterns become uneven or completely blocked. Most homeowners replace the showerhead. A new fixture costs $30 to $150. Installation adds more. The problem recurs within another 18 months. The cycle repeats. The same buildup on a water heater element forces the heating system to work harder to achieve the same water temperature. Research on residential water heaters found energy consumption increases of up to 40% on heavily scaled elements compared to clean ones. Every month that scale accumulates, you pay more on your electricity bill for the same result. The heater is not malfunctioning, it is suffocating under mineral insulation. The average household in a hard water area, and the U.S. Geological Survey estimates over 85% of American homes receive water with calcium levels sufficient to produce visible scale, spends approximately $180 annually on descaling products, fixture replacements, and plumber visits attributable to limescale damage. A routine monthly maintenance protocol using bulk citric acid costs approximately 25 cents per month, under $3 per year. That is not a small difference. That is a $177 annual gap per household, multiplied by the 85% of American homes that experience the problem. The scale of that transfer, from household budgets to cleaning product manufacturers, is in the billions annually, sustained by the invisibility of a commodity powder that has been available in grocery stores the entire time. Here is what you actually do. This is the part that costs almost nothing and replaces every descaling product currently under your sink. You need food-grade citric acid powder, not cleaning grade, not industrial grade. Food grade, available in the baking aisle of most grocery stores or in bulk bags online. 500 grams costs $3 to $6. You need warm water, ideally between 50 and 60 degrees Celsius, because heat significantly accelerates the chemical reaction. You need a container suitable for soaking the item. That is the entire list. For a shower head, fill a plastic bag with 1 liter of warm water. Stir in 3 tablespoons of citric acid powder until fully dissolved. Submerge the shower head in the bag. If the head is fixed to the wall and cannot be removed, use a rubber band or clip to secure the bag over it with the head fully submerged. Leave it for 30 minutes. Then run the shower at full pressure for 30 seconds to flush dissolved residue out of the nozzles. Flow rate returns to full capacity. Every blocked nozzle clears. For faucet aerators, the small mesh screen at the tip of your tap that is almost certainly partially blocked right now, unscrew it from the faucet, drop it into the same solution, wait 20 minutes, rinse under running water, and reattach. Immediate pressure increase. For a kettle, fill it to the maximum line with water, stir in 2 tablespoons of powder, bring to a boil, switch off and let it sit for 20 minutes, pour it out, then rinse thoroughly at least 3 times before use. The heating element will be completely clean. For a coffee maker, dissolve 2 tablespoons of powder per liter of water and run the machine through a full brew cycle with that solution. Follow with 2 full cycles of plain clean water. Internal heating elements, tubes, and valves will be descaled completely. For a water heater, and this is where the energy savings are largest, the process requires draining a portion of the tank and flushing a 500-gram citric acid solution through the system, allowing a 4-hour contact time. The energy reduction in the following billing cycle typically recovers the cost of the entire bag of powder. This is a process worth doing once a year in hard water areas. For ongoing prevention, the step that eliminates the problem cycle entirely, a brief monthly soak of shower heads and aerators in a weaker citric acid solution takes 2 minutes and costs roughly 25 cents. The buildup that would otherwise accumulate over 18 months never gains a foothold. You are not reacting to a problem. You are chemically preventing the problem from forming. Now, a word of honest caution, because credibility requires acknowledging limits. Citric acid is highly effective on calcium carbonate, standard limescale. It is less effective on iron-based rust deposits or silicate scale, which forms in specific geological water conditions. If your water supply contains unusually high iron content, or if you live in an area with silicate-dominant geology, the results may be incomplete. In those cases, a different acid chemistry or a combination approach may be necessary. Older plumbing, with corroded joints or severely degraded fixtures, can also present complications. The descaling process removes the mineral deposits, but if those deposits have been masking underlying corrosion for years, removing them can reveal damage that was already present. This is not caused by the citric acid. The damage was there before, but it is worth being aware of before treating heavily scaled older systems. On surfaces with specialized coatings, certain brushed finishes, antiqued metal, specific matte treatments, test a small, inconspicuous area first. Citric acid at proper concentrations does not typically damage standard chrome or stainless finishes, but individual coatings vary. These are real limitations. Acknowledging them is not a weakness of the method. It is honesty about a chemistry that is powerful within its domain and limited outside it. A building superintendent in Phoenix, Arizona, managing a complex of 24 residential units, documented what happened when he transitioned from commercial descaling products to bulk citric acid across the entire facility. Before the switch, annual spending on descaling treatments, Limescale-related plumbing callouts, and fixture replacements ran to approximately $2,400 for the complex. Shower heads were being replaced on a regular cycle because cleaning products were not achieving full restoration of flow. Water heater efficiency complaints from tenants were a recurring issue. The first year after switching to bulk citric acid, implemented as a quarterly building-wide descaling protocol, total spending on all Limescale-related maintenance fell to $47. Shower heads stopped being replaced. Water heater efficiency complaints dropped to 0. The chemistry did not change. The mineral content of the water supply did not change. The only thing that changed was the concentration and the application method. A 10 to 15% solution applied at the right temperature for the right duration. The problem that had been generating $2,400 a year in costs was neutralized for $47. That is not a marginal improvement. That is a category elimination. Here is what I want you to carry out of this video. You have probably been looking at the Limescale on your faucet and thinking of it as an inconvenience. A cosmetic problem at worst. Maybe something you throw a commercial spray at every few months when it gets bad enough. It is not cosmetic. It is structural, and it compounds every single day. The calcium carbonate building up inside your shower head right now is already reducing your water pressure. The scale on your kettle element is already adding time to every boil and electricity to every monthly bill. The buildup in your water heater is right now increasing the energy required to heat your water, costing you money every single month that it sits there. None of this is a plumbing problem. None of this requires a contractor, a specialty product, or a branded solution. It is a chemistry problem. And chemistry has had the answer for 2,000 years. The Roman engineers who kept the Pont du Gard aqueduct running did not have a cleaning product budget line. They had observational knowledge of what happened when certain acids contacted certain minerals. The Victorian boiler engineers who kept industrial steam operations from exploding did not have a subscription box arriving monthly. They had documented chemistry and the sense to apply it. That knowledge was never wrong. It was never improved upon by the products designed to replace it. It was simply removed from the residential conversation at the precise moment when a commodity that could not be patented or branded began to threaten the margins of a market that depended on repeat purchase cycles. The gap between what chemistry actually does and what you have been told you need to buy, that gap is not a mistake. It is the product. QuickSecret exists because that gap has a real cost. It shows up in your electricity bill, in your plumbing repair bill, in the fixture replacement cycle you probably assumed was inevitable. It is not inevitable. It never was. A $3 bag of powder from the baking aisle, the same chemistry Roman engineers trusted when they built infrastructure that lasted 2 millennia. The same knowledge that was standard engineering practice before it became inconvenient for a $15 billion industry. The vault is open. If this changed how you see the products under your sink, share this video with one person who is still paying $15 for a tablet. Every view this gets is another person who escapes that cycle permanently. Comment below, have you already tried citric acid? What did it do for you? Or tell me what surface in your home is the worst affected right now. I read every comment. Subscribe to QuickSecret and hit the bell, because the next vault we open exposes a problem sitting inside millions of homes that costs American households over $4 billion a year. And the fix has been hiding in plain sight since before your grandparents were born. The vault is open. Do not let them close it.